Thank you guys, obviously, for joining up today. I really do appreciate this. This took a lot of time to build, and I just wanted to make it perfect for you guys. I really do hope you guys like it. I'm basically going to be giving you a step-by-step guide of how to be able to demo your AI callers and make sure that, whenever you get a potential client, you're able to deliver for them correctly. And not only that, also impress them with the AI that you have built out. So, starting us off, I basically made an entire landing page for this call itself. So you guys are able to see more or less how I branded my own company and how you guys will be able to brand yourself with any type of niche that you're currently in at the moment. So this is what I currently have, right? I basically focused everything on the e-commerce niche. I made sure to drop it and make sure that the main focus here is going to be the demoing of the AI itself. So how did I do that, right? How did I go about interviewing the AI? So first of all, I made sure to place this as if like they were an actual employee, right? I no longer call them AI callers. An AI caller is able to do one thing. They're able to call, right? And have a conversation with whoever it is. However, they're not able to make custom actions after that call. That is an AI employee. So, guys, is it okay if you mute yourself just in case? Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so essentially, I want to make sure that these are AI employees. So an AI employee is pretty much an AI caller that is able to make custom actions right after, during, or before the call itself happens. So this is how I formatted this, and I want you guys to be able to do this yourself, essentially. So if you guys wanted to go ahead and make your own type of landing page, your own type of website, I also got you the best resources to be able to do that. All you're going to do, and this only costs $15 a month if you guys would like to go through with it. However, if you know a web developer, also go through with that. Completely fine, up to you. This is called TypeDream. TypeDream is literally for beginners. It is a no-code platform that allows you to make your own type of landing pages, websites, whatever you want to do, and then obviously copy it into your entire team as I did here myself. It's super easy to build in here. It's $15 a month. You guys can go ahead and explore through on this. I just wanted to show it to you guys so that way you're able to see. But this is what I used, and I wanted to share it so you guys understand every single aspect of this build, right? So I used TypeDream. I made sure that I created these AI employees in a very neat manner that shows them, hey, these are actual staff members that you could add onto your team, and they're going to be cooperative, right? They're going to understand. They're going to learn as they go. They're going to get better and better, right? Because right now, the AI callers, as they are right now, they're the worst as they're ever going to be, right? So they're only going to get better and better from here on out. So what is the build that we're going to be making? What is going to happen, right? So let's say, for example, here with Sophia, if someone wants to go ahead and interview Sophia, what will happen? Most of the time, everyone that goes into your landing page, they will be on their phones, right? So they're going to click on this interview Sophia button, and then it's going to go and automatically call Sophia. So let's go ahead and see Sophia, right? Let's go ahead and see her real quick. So Sophia is an inbound AI employee made with Synthflow, obviously. And essentially, these are the presets that I already have for Sophia. The voice that I selected was Anna Brazilian. I always say this on every single one of my calls. I basically have the accents activated onto this. So for those of you who do not know and believe that the only way that we can make them select the voice essentially is by selecting this, you can add accents onto this. So the way to add accents is by clicking on Brazil here, for example. You can do this with any of them, right? You select Anna Brazilian. It's going to change it over here as the language over to Brazil. However, you want Anna Brazilian to keep that same accent and understand English, right? So you're there. You're going to go back to English US. It's going to ask you to select anything. You're just going to go ahead and click out of here. All right? So with that being said, right, always make sure to use GPT-4o for the builds. There you go. Always make sure to use GPT-4o. That is the most advanced model right now. It's the one that works best with all calendars, and it's all seamless. So the first thing that Sophia says, right, I'm going to go over a little bit of the prompt. I'm going to go over what she does essentially. Not too much in detail because I want to keep this build short, but enough for you to understand. So Sophia is a cart recovery AI employee, and she's essentially going to be answering any of the questions that the prospect coming into the landing page will have, right? So the first thing that she says is, "Hi, I'm Sophia, the cart recovery AI employee. What's your name and what would you like to learn about my job?" Right? So over here in the prompt, here I basically give her some specific details of our services and everything along the lines of that, right? So I teach it who they are, right? Sophia, you are a cart recovery visionary for Visionaire, a company that provides AI employees designed to enhance business efficiency, so on and so forth. I give it her job. Your job is to call customers who have abandoned their online shopping carts and encourage them to complete their purchase. Today, you're preparing for an interview with a potential client who might be interested in hiring you for their team, right? So I'm literally treating her as if like she was an actual employee, essentially. So I give her the initial greeting. I give her key points to cover in the interview. So all the things that they may ask, right? She will have an answer for. And then I do the same thing over here, potential questions and responses. So these are mostly objections, right? So objection handling with that. After that, right, if they are interested, she can go ahead and book them into a call, integrated over to GoHighLevel, which I'll show you guys in just a second. And then obviously I give her some talking styles and, make sure that that is all set up with that. Dev, I see your questions. I will make sure to answer all of them once I am done with the build, but don't worry, I see them. All right, save that. Perfect. Oh, and Jeff, yes, I did provide the prompt as a template. It should be right here. I put it in the chat. It's in the Google Doc. So this is what you're going to see. And this is the prompt for exactly what I just showed you right now. So you have access to that. Yes, sir. I got you, my man. All right, let's go back onto this. Okay, so the actions, right? What's going to happen after this? And I want to go, obviously, make sure that you guys understand it is a very niche down type of project. You guys are going to be making your own. I just want to give you a good example. So I obviously connected my call over to the GoHighLevel calendar that I have right here. And then once that is connected, you will be able to select your specific calendar that you'll be able to book people into, right? So essentially, I always offer 2 days for the offering dates, and then I do 2 appointment slots per day and 2 interval between slots. That way she's not mentioning 3 days, 3 times, 3 slots. It's a little too much for the person to handle. I would even go down to 1 if necessary as well. However, right, put in your time zone, and then we're set on that. And then the information extractors, and these are super important. These are super crucial. You're going to need this to be able to make the automation itself. So the first thing is the interest, right? So was the user interested? This is literally just a yes or no question that the AI will be able to answer very easily. And we need this in order to create our separate paths when the if else within GoHighLevel. So after that, right, I also give it another info extractor that's going to be the interest choice. So essentially, what were they interested in? So what was the user interested in? As you can see right here, that's the selection that they're going to be able to make. And after that, this is simple. Their first name, right, or full name, whichever one you want to choose, and then their email, right? So we will need that for the automation as well. If they provide it, of course, which they should have if they were interested, because they obviously go ahead and book in the meeting for that. Okay, so that is Sophia, right, in the Synthflow side of things. And then now I'm going to be showing you guys what happens in the back end, right? So we've done all the prompting. We've done everything within the Synthflow side. Now we need to go ahead and integrate it over to GoHighLevel. Right, for those of you who are using GoHighLevel, I definitely recommend GoHighLevel. Those are the ones that, I mean, for me at least, it's the easiest to use for automation wise. So, what is going to happen, right? The first thing that's going to happen, right? It's going to gather an inbound webhook from the call that was made. So whenever someone clicks on this, they can go ahead, right? The call starts. This inbound webhook right here already grabs that call. It makes sure of it every single time. After that, right, you're going to go ahead. And by the way, I'll show you guys this real quick because this is very important. You will need to copy this URL, right? And then in order to be able to connect it to your AI employee right here, you're going to be able to plug that URL right on here and then initialize it. Super important. That's so it can actually be connected over from Synthflow to GoHighLevel. Okay, so then you're going to go ahead and map the references. You're going to fetch the results that you're going to be able to receive from the calls that you make. And then you're going to create a contact, right? So right here, there's going to be a call transcript. There's going to be, I'll add this for now. There's going to be a call recording, and there's going to be a call ID. So the reason for these is for you to actually be able to identify what happened during the call. If you don't know what happened, you're kind of going to be left in the dust, right? So in order to be able to connect this, all you need to do is gather it from the inbound webhook. You would go into call, and then this is for the transcript. For call recording, you'll do the same thing, call recording URL, and then call ID. You're just going to go into the same thing and then call ID, right? You're going to save that action. And then once that happens, it's going to basically show all that information. So the full name, the phone number, the call transcript, the call recording, and the call ID. It's all going to be shown under the contact itself, which you will create these as custom values because they will not come with GoHighLevel itself. So you'll create those yourself, which is super simple to do. All right, so save that. After that, what I do is I assign it to a user, right? So in this case, I'm assigning it to myself. That's fairly simple. So what happens here, right? Basically, what's going on here is I'm asking GPT within GoHighLevel to make me a summary of the call. So that way I don't have to go over the transcript. I don't have to go over the call recording if I don't want to. I don't have to do any of that, right? It's basically going to make it a note within the contact itself and even in the opportunity or pipeline, whatever it is. And it's going to give me a summary of the entire call, the call actions, everything that I need. It's going to be right within there. Now, what happens in this one, right? In the second GPT. So this kind of goes into conjunction, and I'll go over this GPT in just a second because you're going to need to see this SMS before I go ahead and send this over. But essentially, it's gathering historical data. So GPT is practically amazing right now with GoHighLevel. They're able to gather historical data from past actions that you made with GPTs. So for example, if I give it a transcript, right, and I tell it, hey, I want you to give me something that they were interested within the call. So now I can go ahead, whenever I text them, it's basically going to say something like, hey, I saw you were interested in this. Would you still be willing to talk or book in a meeting, right? If they didn't book in a meeting in the call, right? So historical data, super, super good, a very good addition that GPT has made, and a very good addition that you should also make to your company, right? Or agency, whatever you have. So it gathers the information, right? And then after that, I go ahead and I share the GPT response as a note. So this is the summary, right? If you guys want to go ahead and see, right, that is what the prompt is. And then this is what the prompt is for the other one. You can pause it whenever you see the call recording, of course. So there you have it. And then history for this workflow. So it's going to add in a note right after the first GPT response in order to gather the summary of the call itself. Now what happens, right? After this, you need to be able to understand if they showed interest or not. How do we identify that? For those of you who don't know, right? I'm pretty sure some of you do already, but for those of you who don't know, the interest that we made right here was a yes or no question, right? So you're going to go over and identify that yes or no question within here. Okay? So as a true or false. So true is they did show interest, false is that they just didn't. In order to be able to do that, I'll show you just one more time right here. The first thing you'll see is inbound webhook trigger, and then executed actions, interest, and then you're going to click on the return value and then click on interest. Then make it true. That is how you gather the branch for this itself, right? So we can go ahead and save that action. Now it's going to identify, okay, they were interested or they were not interested. We can go ahead and split them up into their specific sections. So right here, what is going to happen after they showed interest? So first of all, you're going to get an internal notification, right? And how are you going to receive these internal notifications? I personally recommend internal notifications over SMSing yourself or emailing yourself. You get charged for emailing or SMSing yourself. I recommend internal notifications because you can basically just download the Lead Connector app and receive notification, right? It's the same thing, essentially. The same thing as an SMS, but you'll receive a notification without getting charged for it. You don't get charged for internal notifications. So I would definitely recommend for you guys to use this. So what happens with here, right? It tells me that, hey, this contact showed interest in the landing page. And after that, right, I give it the contact information as well as the call summary, right? So the 3 sentences that we made back up here will also be shown in the internal notification. So the redirect page is just going to be the contact, or you can make it whatever you'd like. And then it's going to be the user assigned to the contact. So for example, up here, remember when we went ahead and assigned the user, it's basically going to go back and reiterate that assigned user and target and send this internal notification to them. So for those of you who did download the Lead Connector app, you need to make sure that you are signed in as the user itself, right? So you can't sign in as like the agency account. You're not going to receive the notification. Okay. So after that happens, I'm going to explain why we made the ChatGPT 2 response right here. But essentially, it can say something like, this is going to be to the prospect itself. Hey, this is Kevin from Visionary. We saw you had a call with our visionary, and by the means of it, it seems like you liked blank. Like, hey, you liked the car recovery. Hey, you liked the fact that it was able to do this. Hey, you like this. You know what I mean? So that's what the GPT response is going to be able to give us. And then it's going to ask them for a time if they're available tomorrow, right? So would you be available tomorrow to discuss our process in greater detail, et cetera, et cetera. So after that, I go ahead and create this as an opportunity, right? So I'll show you guys right now. This is the pipeline that I created for this opportunity. It can be a lot simpler. This is what I have for my current agency, but really here is all you need to do is have 2 main opportunities that's going to show the interest, right? So it's going to gather the people that showed the interest and the ones that didn't show the interest. That's all it is, right? So you can make one very simply, and then it'll show it right here, right? So they'll get dragged onto this. Now going back. So I made sure to just put all that, and then make sure that you're allowing opportunity to move to any previous stage in the pipeline, just because you could, if they call again, you could have duplicate ones, but I don't think you want to have duplicate ones. You want to have the stage where someone is already at, if that makes sense, right? So let's go ahead and save that. And after this, I basically made it so you guys are able to call them pretty much as soon as right, they submit the whole thing. They will have a manual call, right? So I made it so you get added a task, so you get a reminder, and then you also get added a manual call where you're going to be able to make your call yourself, right? So you can personally call them, or you could have one of your employees call them to follow up with them, or you could just literally have the AI caller follow up with them as well. Whatever you'd like to do, I just gave you free roam with this space, right? So Essentially, the same thing happens if they didn't show interest, but it's just going to notify you that they didn't show interest, and it's going to tell you that to send basically a manual SMS, so a message that will gather info as to why they weren't interested, and maybe, right, you yourself could convince them on an SMS, text message blast, or whatever you'd like to do. And then after this, it gets added onto their stage in the pipeline. Same setting down here. And then, once again, a manual call to follow up with them if you guys would like to have that. I didn't add that as a task just because if you guys wouldn't want to call them if they didn't show interest, then there's no need to call them. You know what I mean? So, after this, you can go ahead and save all that. After that happens, you pretty much need to understand what's going to happen after it, right? So if someone goes in and they showed interest in the call and then they booked in a meeting, what will happen after that, right? So I made an entire webinar before this one that explains the whole follow-up process when someone books in a meeting, but I'm going to go ahead and re-explain it again just because I want you guys to be aligned with the whole entire process that's going to happen. So that's why I have this up. Basically, what is going to happen after the AI booked in a meeting for this person, right? So first of all, you'll get an appointment confirmation via email, which is set up like this. I'll go ahead and show you. It's just going to remind them, right, with the meeting link, the information, everything that they need. You guys could copy what I do. I really do not mind it at all. That's why I'm here. And then it's going to wait 1 day before the meeting. It's going to send them an SMS. It's going to send them a phone call, right? So it's going to make a phone call with their information, all their contact, the reason, the description, the call summary, everything with historical data already integrated onto it. And then after that, right, it's going to go ahead and wait another hour. It's going to remind them again with an email confirmation, right, making sure that they do go into the meeting just as a follow-up. And then an internal notification for you so you do not miss the call an hour before, right? And then another one for the prospect themselves, so that way they receive it through SMS as well. I gave you guys all three options. You guys could decide if you want to do less or more, whatever you'd like. Now, what's going to happen 10 minutes before the call? Basically the same thing. You're going to get an email. You're going to get an internal notification telling you that it's 10 minutes before, and then they're going to get an SMS that is 10 minutes before. You can make sure if you'd like to do this that way. Obviously, I have it set up for you, but if not, you could do it however you'd like. So what happens after they go ahead and receive this call, right? So let's say they answered the phone call and they said that they were going to go ahead and show up and all that stuff. What happens, right? So this is another inbound webhook that we're going to be doing here that gathers the information from this call and identifies it all within here, okay? So it finds the contact, first of all, because they're already going to be a contact integrated onto here. And then it's going to identify if they answered, if the call failed, if there was a no answer call, or if they hung up on voicemail, right? Or do not disturb, whichever one. After that, right, this is what I set up for it as right here. So you guys can see. Okay. And then it's going to appropriately answer, divide them into the separate paths essentially. But if the call failed, it's just going to mark it as an opportunity as a call failed. If there was a no answer, it's going to mark him as no answer. And then hung up on voicemail, it's also going to be call no answer with the same setting as the one that I told you guys before, right? However, what would happen if they did answer, right? So if they did answer, then you could go ahead and understand if they confirm the appointment, right? So you're going to need another type of AI employee for this. And I already have the call recording for that webinar, so I'll plug it in the chat if you guys need me to as well. But essentially, you will have an AI employee that calls them and confirms, cancels, or reschedules the call, right? So once that happens, you can go ahead and put them into their separate paths, essentially. So if they confirm the call, this happens. If they cancel the call, this happens. If they reschedule the call, this happens. And they all get imported onto their own type of pipelines. And you will get notified with an internal notification. Keep in mind, they don't charge you for this. And then it'll show you like, hey, this person confirmed their appointment. If you want to add extra information down here, you could easily do so as well. And then you do that for the canceled appointments as well as the appointment rescheduled. That's all within here. Then for the appointment rescheduled, it also sends an SMS to the person telling them that, hey, you rescheduled for this time, and we're good with that. And then obviously they also get added onto their separate opportunities in here. So that way we have all that to access. Okay, cool. So essentially, that is the build. I'll show you guys an example. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions before I show you guys the example. So let's go ahead and go over these. So how do I get the AI to randomize her replies and not always stick to the exact sentence? If you're talking about the prompt itself, the only way that you're going to be able to randomize an AI's replies is by making it a variable. So pretty much you can go over here, prompt, and then you can name it whatever you would like. And then within GoHighLevel, you could go ahead and make a ChatGPT or whatever you would like, right? And it would go ahead and make a different reply every single time. You could basically tell ChatGPT, hey, reword this or whatever you'd like to do. But that is how you would make an automated reply. You will not be able to do that within the prompt itself because it's just going to read over the first thing and have the same result every single time. So yes, it will have to be a variable if that answers your question, Laura. Okay. Change the way you handle the booking. You're able to customize it in the instructions, and you can't. So, Maytel, this is something that they're currently working on. So, I'm pretty sure you're talking about the advanced prompting of the real-time booking right here. So, within the advanced prompting, you are still able to do this within the main account. However, they need to go ahead and re-add that back. I do agree with you. It's something that was definitely useful, but something that they're also working on. So that's already on the way. Yes, Ray, the meeting is recorded. Do we need to connect our GPT account, and does it need to be premium? You do need to connect your GPT account. Let me just double check just to make sure I don't get the wrong information over to you, but I'm pretty sure you do. If not, actually, I don't think I did here. And they still allow me to use GPT-4o. So I think you're good on that, my man. I believe that was Jeff. Yeah. You should be good on that, bro. So they basically charge you a cent or a penny every single time that you run this action. Okay. Along the same line, if you can share the GoHighLevel workflow you're showing us, that would save massive time. So that would be more or less like a snapshot. Jeff, I could definitely look into this, see if I can do this in future calls as well. It will definitely be a lot easier. I completely agree with you. I'll see for this. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll make sure, on the next call. Yep, a second request of Jeff. Mini snapshot with those workflows would be great. Okay, yeah, 100%. So basically what I was mentioned as well. So that's, I'm definitely going to look into that, see how I can get that for you guys. So that way it's easier. And then I could plug it into the prompts right here and have it work. So, all right, fellas, let's go ahead and show you guys kind of like an example of how this will work. Pretend I am like a prospect that would go over and call Sophia right here. Let me know if you guys are able to hear the call as well.
Hi, I'm I'm Sophia, the Cart Recovery AI employee. What's your name and what would you like to learn about my job?
My name is Kevin. I just kind of wanted to see if I could implement the cart recovery over to my store.
That's awesome, Kevin. I'd love to help you with that. What would you like to know about how I can boost your store sales and customer experience?
Yeah, I just kind of want to get more sales in. A lot of people are just not purchasing.
I totally understand. I specialize in reaching out to customers who leave items in their carts and encouraging them to complete their purchases. This can significantly increase your sales conversion rate. Would you like to hear more about how I do that?
Sure. Is there any way I could book a call with you guys?
Absolutely, Kevin. Let's get that set up. Are you in the U.S. Eastern time zone?
Yeah, I am.
Great. How about we schedule a call for either tomorrow at 10 a.m. or 12 p.m.? Which time works best for you?
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. works.
Perfect. Let me book that for you. One moment, please. Booking your appointment for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Please wait a moment while I book your meeting. Your call is booked for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you need to reschedule, please use the link in your email.
Okay, now she's gonna go rambling on about, obviously, going back and forth on like the on pretty much like ending the call essentially. However, I'm getting another call right here, as you guys could see. This is the follow-up call that happens pretty much as soon as you book in a meeting. So wait, let me end that call because it keeps talking. Okay, so why did I receive another call right there? So I'll go ahead and explain that to you guys. Right here, post call, no, not this one. Right here, this wait time, and you could edit this, right, however you'd like. But if it happened, so if the timing of this wait step is already in the past, how should the contact proceed, right? So I like, for whenever someone books in a meeting for a day, right, I'd like the AI to go ahead and call them and confirm basically this, right? They could either confirm, cancel, or reschedule, whatever they'd like to do. The reason I have this as move to next step is because I wanted you guys to also be able to see that, right? So if you'd like to basically move it to a specific step or skip all outbound communication actions, you could easily do that as well. But essentially, right, if someone books in a meeting with me, they should receive a call day before. You could either make it an hour before, 5 hours before, whatever you'd like to confirm the meeting. I do it a day before to make sure that they're available for the next day, right? So what happened here, essentially, whenever that went down? So I gathered my information right here. It got my execution logs. It did everything. It had the task reminder. It said that I showed interest. The reason it didn't add my name is because I have edited this contact multiple times, and I made the name the phone number, but just as an example, right? So it showed interest. It sent me the internal notification. It sent me an SMS. So I received that as well. As you can see right here. I can't see my camera. Okay, there you go. As you can see right here, it sent me an SMS. It also sent me an email making sure that I got the appointment scheduled for everything. I'll show you that right now. There's the email that I received. And then go ahead and refresh this real quick. It added me onto the showed interest stage right here, as you can see. And then it should have booked the appointment if it all went well. Yep, at 10 a.m. right here for tomorrow and Saturday. So that is literally what happens. Now, whenever someone goes ahead and they receive the follow-up call, they're going to go ahead and confirm, reschedule, or cancel, and you will get notified of literally every single step of the way with this. So this is essentially how you're able to demo every single client, right, that comes into your landing page and is interested, right? So you want to make sure that you leverage every single person that comes in, make sure that you do not lose them, make sure that you add them onto a pipeline, make sure that you follow up with them as much as possible, because they're the ones that are going to be making your business at the end of the day. Obviously, you guys already know that. So I just showed you kind of like a seamless process of how it needs to be done. And if you guys have any other questions, I'm gonna stay here for as long as you guys need me to, probably around like 3, and then I'm here to answer. Just take advantage of this time, obviously, and yeah, I'll just be here to answer each and every one of your questions. So yeah, let's get to it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed all that as well. Please share settings. No matter what I do, she still sounds robotic. How to make it sound this way? Okay, I'll explain that real quick. So I'm not sure if you were able to be here for the initial the initial part of the presentation, but pretty much you're able to add accents to the voices, right? This is super crucial. If you add it as just US and then you select US as the language, you're not really going to get that. It's going to sound kind of robotic. So what I would recommend for you to be able to do is add accents onto these, right? So for example, if I want to add Anna Brazilian, I want to go over here, Portuguese. I switch over to Anna Brazilian, select that, and then I would go back here as a language, because really this language right here is a language that they're just able to understand. It literally says it right here. Choose a language that your assistant is able to understand. That doesn't mean that it's gonna, select your voice for you or anything like that. But you can go ahead. It's gonna give you a pop-up, and you're gonna completely ignore this pop-up. All right. So yes, understand or speak. You're correct for sure. And then it's gonna get, once you click out of it, it's gonna just give the voice an accent. So you could literally do this. I'll show you guys some of my favorite ones right now if you guys want. One of my favorite ones is Lucian right here. So Lucian, he sounds, well, I don't like to do it right here because it just does sound different than how it sounds on a call. But Lucian is a very good one. Very professional tone of voice. I just like Lucian really well. I'll show you guys right now. I'm not entirely sure if you guys could hear that. Could someone confirm if they could hear that? But I doubt it. Yeah, no, let me go ahead and stop sharing it. And I'll go ahead and reshare real quick. One sec. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Can you guys hear this now? It hasn't
Hi,
loaded.
I'm
There you go.
Sophia, the cart recovery AI employee. What's your name and what would you like to learn about my job?
So that's what Lucian sounds like. There's another one that I can show you guys right now as well. This is actually based in the US. The name is Armando. Let it load. Okay. Cool. So Armando sounds like this. He has more of an American tone of voice.
Hi, I'm Sophia, the cart recovery AI employee. What's your name and what would you like to learn about my job?
So he has kind of like a sweet person voice, if I were to say it. More or less like an intern. Honestly, that's the best way I could describe Armando's voice. But let me go ahead and put this back over to Brazil. But that's how you add accents onto your AIs, right? So it's super easy, and it's very, it's just makes a whole big of a difference, like major difference. It's pretty much gonna, I wouldn't say make or break, but yeah, make or break all the calls that you're currently making. So, yep, that's how you do it. Let me go ahead and go hop onto the next question. How do I replace the variable? What variable I need to use her to randomize replies? How do I place the variable? The Synthflow have a memory key, so when a user calls again, she remembers the caller and what she talked about. I don't think they have a memory key. They can pull up information using a custom action. that is like an option as well, from pulling up information from GoHighLevel, from like past calls, essentially. But as a memory key within Synthflow, I don't believe we do. And from the question that you mentioned for like how do I place the variable, if you're talking about how to place the variable, it's kind of what I showed you earlier. So right here, you would just go ahead, type in reply or whatever you'd like, or random reply, and you would connect it over by using GoHighLevel. In order to connect that variable, you would add it onto here. So let's say it was reply. You would go ahead and put that random chat GPT response right here. Well, I don't have GPT in this one, but you would see GPT here and then select the response. And that's how you would add a variable, right? That's connected over with your model ID and your API key. These are all simple things that I really didn't go over the call because it's pretty self-explanatory. You just plug and play, copy and paste. But that's how I would do it, Laura. Can we use the AI to close the deal? Actually, try to close them and then process a payment, etc. I mean, it's really that good. If the cost is low enough and more transactional, just have the AI close deals. Yeah, I mean, if you'd like the AI to gather the information on the phone call and actually make a payment, you could easily do that. And the way you would do that is you would extract the information from everything. Obviously, if you want to make them get charged like after the call, let's say you get the card information right within the call itself or whatever you'd like, and after that you have it as an info extractor, which could then get extracted onto GoHighLevel, and then you can make payments using Stripe on GoHighLevel itself. So you can go ahead and gather their payment, make the payment, start the subscription, so on and so forth. The automation life, How can I adjust the AI prompt so it doesn't interrupt me when I pause for a moment? It makes communication difficult if it starts talking as soon as I stop, I think. Yeah, so like Tom mentioned, it is going to come with a release later on. However, if you would like for it to stop doing that right now, kind of like I would say like a sleazy fix in a way, either change this patience level over to medium or high. So that way it gives you time to reply. Or, and I believe they already added this, or you could send idle reminders. So whenever they don't talk to you, right here, this is probably why. If you have this set over to like 10 seconds, if you don't talk for 10 seconds, then it's going to go ahead and say, hey, are you still here? Do you have any questions or whatever it is? So that way it doesn't interrupt you every single 4 seconds. So I get what you mean. But yeah, that's already added on it. What is a typical success rate of the demo call exactly, Alex? The typical success rate of having these landing pages, is that what you're trying to go for? I'm not entirely sure. But just, yeah, reiterate in the chat and I'll go ahead and re-answer it. Can the AI switch between languages if someone is speaking English and then switch to Spanish? I sure as hell hope that was a thing of now, like that would happen now. The only way I would say for you to be able to do this without the Tom said that it's going to come real soon. However, I would recommend if you don't have it now, you really, really need it set up. What you can do is have like a transfer whenever someone starts speaking like that language. You could have an assistant team go ahead and transfer that call over to someone that does speak that language, right, within your AI team, and you would have the same prompt. The only thing you would change is the AI language that they're capable of understanding, right? So that's how I would do it. How do you clean the memory of the knowledge base? If I had a knowledge base document, deleted it, and then uploaded the same category document with different details, she still gives the old document data. This can also be on pricing, services, qualified leads, etc. even if I upload a document that belongs to a different business by mistake. I would kind of need to see this. That's more of like an intricate question that I would need to have my eyes on. I can't just solve it from here. So, Maital, if you want to go ahead and shoot me a message through Discord, I could definitely go ahead and help you out on that. But yeah, that's all I would do for that. So for your e-commerce cart recovery niche, can you give us a guide to what you're charging clients? Okay, so Nick, basically, this depends and varies upon I would say the person, honestly, the CEO of the company itself. It depends on how you want to charge them. Obviously, you will need usage minutes. That is a given. You'll need to charge them usage minutes. Right now, what I do is I charge them 20 cents per minute. Maybe it's too cheap, maybe it's not. It's really a preference, like I mentioned, but it's what I found to work the best. I'm currently charging, it was $4.97 a month, and with a $1,500 setup fee. So the month is the maintenance fee. The setup fee for me is $1,500, and then 20 cents per minute. That's what I do. So I was mostly meaning success to get the desired result. As an example, having the customer call in and get convinced to either book in a meeting or finish their purchase. Yeah, I mean, the success rate so far, every single time that I've tested it over the long period of making this build for you guys, it didn't fail once. Or at least the way that I made it, it didn't fail once. So it always goes through. I always get the book meeting. I always get the pipeline on it. Everything always works. I haven't seen any major mistakes. And if there is a major mistake, it would be on GoHighLevel side. Probably not mine, just because it already worked. You know what I mean? It already worked once. Why wouldn't it work again? Yeah, Juiced. So you asked, can you explain more about choosing GPT-4o and the other option as an AI model? The reason, okay, I'll show you guys the difference. Right here. So there's two models right now, right? There's the Synthflow LLM, which by all means talks way better than the GPT-4o one. Like if it was just conversation and no action needed to be made, literally what I mentioned before as an AI caller, Synthflow LLM is your go-to. So if you don't need to book in a meeting, if you don't need to extract info, if you don't need to do any of that, Synthflow LLM. If you do need to do all of that, GPT-4o. Why? Because sometimes whenever you have the Synthflow LLM, it's not actually going to make that action go through for you, which is a little bit weird. But I'm pretty sure they're already working on this as well. But that is what I would definitely do, what I would use for each case scenario. If it's just talking, Synthflow LLM. If it's just doing the talking as well as making the custom actions, GPT-4o. But in that case, why not just go for the 4o, if you ever end up changing anything? That's the major reason, Juiced, if that answers your question. Please send me the recording and the GoHighLevel workflow snapshot right away. I'd like to use it on our webinar we have on Tuesday. Thanks, amazing job. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And for that, I will go ahead and you can DM me on Discord, and we could work through that. Yes, Mintel, I got you, and Alex, I got you too. Okay, this may be asking too much information, but are you charging $1,500 to create a chat client? $4.97 to maintain, and 20 cents per minute. That is a question that I would rather not answer, right? You could DM me like personally, and I would go about this information as well. But yeah, we could go ahead and discuss stuff like that. But yeah, what do you choose? Juice said, what do you choose for a callback line? For a callback line. So if someone wants to go ahead and call this back, essentially. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that, Juiced? And then I can go ahead and answer this question. My jaw is killing me. All right, thank you, Juiced. Does Synthflow have plans for OpenAI's full release of ChatGPT's advanced voice model? Game changer. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I'm updated on that, but I'm pretty sure they're working on their own thing. If anything, they're gonna be able to drop this as like an AI model, just like they did with GPT 4.0, kind of the same thing. And you will see it as an option more than likely right here. So, yeah. What I mean is a callback request. Okay. I'm still a little bit lost on what you're trying to ask me, Juice, but I'm just gonna assume it's like a callback request for the demo caller. So if you get a callback request like, oh, hey, call me back at this time, then you could also add that onto the automation. Keep in mind, you will also be noted and notified. This is why I kind of left it over to you. And what I mean by that is right here, when they show interest, but they say, hey, I can't talk right now, I'm a little bit busy, I give you the ability to give them a manual call. And here I am, literally, the one that just happened right now. I give them the ability to make a manual call. So whenever you want to make it, you will have the notes on pretty much everything that you need to be able to make that manual call. So for example, wait, I'll go over. I need to go over to the contact itself. All right, here we go. Where's the notes? Right here. Yeah. So as you can see, I made this call right here. So Kevin interested in implementing cart recovery for his store to boost sales. Engaged with Sophia, the cart recovery AI, to understand how it could help reduce cart abandonment. Sophia explained her role in reaching out to customers who leave items in their carts, significantly increasing sales conversion rates, and offered to schedule a call to discuss further. They successfully booked a call for 10 a.m. the next day, and Kevin ended the conversation as he received another call. Literally everything that happened in the call happened there. So if they were to tell you, hey, call me at this time, you can go over the notes and give them a manual call yourself as a callback. Does that make sense, Juiced? Or you could automate it. Yep, 100%. Or you could automate it however you'd like. There's a way to automate it. For text messages and calling, we use Twilio. To send SMS back to the caller, we use the assign user. Back to the caller, we use the assign user. It's the only trick that made it possible to stay on the same number and not call to one number and receive text from a different number. Is this the only way, or is there a simpler process? Matel, definitely DM me about this as well. I just need to see this in order to be able to answer it, but I'll read it one more time. So for text messages and calling, we use Twilio to send SMS back to the caller. We use the assign user. It's the only trick made possible to stay on the same number and not call to one number and receive text from different number. Is this the only way, or is there a simpler process? So what I'm thinking is, you will have a contact, right, within your, you will have a contact pop up in your automation on GoHighLevel, which means that you're not really assigning the user to that contact. You're assigning the user to yourself, if that makes sense. Yeah, we assign the Twilio assistant number to the staff member in GoHighLevel. Yeah, exactly. So the only trick made possible is to stay on the same number and not call to one number and receive text from a different number. I see what you mean, but you're basically using a phone number for each staff member, essentially. But in that case, you could have their own sub accounts, right? Depending on what you're doing. I'm not entirely sure with the process or how you have things set up on your end, but depending on what you're doing, I'd say it's easier to probably make a sub account for each of them and do it that way. But if you'd like to have them all under one sub account, you just need to assign the user, and they will get assigned to like the manual calls, the manual SMS, all that. Okay. Thank you for the presentation. Very clear on the workflow. I have to go. Thank you, Ernesto. I appreciate it, man. I don't use Discord. How can I connect with you today on the follow workflow recording? Thanks, buddy. You can have my phone number. I can put it in the chat. I don't really mind receiving text or anything like that. So that's my phone number, Jeff. You text me. Yes, sir. I got you, my man. And then we assign the Twilio system number to. Oh yeah, I already read that. All right, fellas. If there's no other questions, I think we should be good. I really, really, really appreciate you guys joining. This definitely took a lot of time to build up, but hopefully you guys found value in it. If you guys want to go ahead and DM me on Synthflow, sorry, not Synthflow, Discord, to get your problem solved or anything like that, I'm always happy to help. I'm just kind of like an extension of like the actual Synthflow support that they have, but I love to help them out. They're an amazing team. They're working really hard to get you guys going with everything. And like I said, I really do appreciate it. My Discord, I'll drop it in the chat. Yeah, I'll show you right now. So if you go over to Synthflow, you'll see me right here. You can go ahead and copy this right here. If you want to add me right now, there you go. The Discord link, I'll drop it right now in the chat for the Discord server itself. This is super important to have. They update you guys on absolutely everything that needs to be on here. You need to join this Discord. That's all I'm gonna say. Every single support question that you may have, you get answered here, or you could just DM me privately, whatever you'd like. But definitely, I can't stress it enough. Join the Discord. They are here to help. All right, so there's that. Okay. All right, fellas. That should be it. And I appreciate you guys joining. So thank you guys for all the support. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. You have a good one. Of course.